Hi there, it's Cindy from Edmonton Graphic Designer. We're going to have a conversation with Erin 𝐬𝐤𝐳. She's an Edmonton graphic designer, and the name of her company is 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 Creative. So let's get to know Erin a little bit and show her some love. How are you today?
I'm good, Cindy. How are you?
I'm really good, thanks. And how old were you when you first decided that this was the career path that you wanted to be on?
So it's always been art. I do a lot of fine art as well. I worked as a sculptor for a while for miniature golf props out of styrofoam, and did some photography for a while. So it's always been more fine art based.
Tell me about this event company you worked with before.
So it was a company that specialized in doing indoor events like trade shows and exhibits, and they also did outdoor events with tents and things like that. So I helped out with doing the graphic design for all of the clients that needed different things at the events, like trade show specific graphics. So usually it was large format design work, or we would get design that came in that I had to edit to make sure that the printers had everything that they needed. So I was, in a lot of cases, the go-between printers and the designers. So I got to see a lot of different designs, and I got to work with a lot of different designers and clients and industries, and I gathered quite a bit of knowledge from that. One of the specialties that I did was designing the exhibits themselves.
Wow.
So which I love doing because I'm also a drafter.
Wow.
So I took the individual pieces that go to build the exhibit, and I built them all in 3D so that we would have all of the sizing that we needed down to the millimeter, so that I could design the graphics to the perfect size so that on site our guys could put it together. Yeah, I just love it. I love doing like drafting for houses in CAD and Revit, and so I'm also doing some visualizations for structures, so tents and geodomes for glamping and things like that. I'm also starting on commercial kitchens. I'm gonna start that in the fall. I love the idea of visualizing things that are in someone's head.
How do you get that information from your client?
My favorite way is to have a good conversation with them and ask them to help me with research, in that they go and take a look and see what is the sort of feel that is out there in any sort of picture. So if they're doing, say, an interior of something, like what is the feel that you want someone to have when they get into that room? Like what do you want to convey? So if you go for feeling based things, it really helps. Like words like excitement, or words like professional, or like you want somebody to have a really calming experience when they go somewhere, or if they want like rugged adventure, like there's things that come with those words, and that helps a lot. But if they have any sort of thing that they have seen that they like pieces of, it really helps me out with being able to make that work.
I'm the same way, and when I'm designing a logo for somebody, I will ask them if they have seen any logos that they really like, because obviously we can't read their minds. And I don't know if you charge by the hour or by the project, but if we as the artist have a better idea, a clearer understanding of what the finished product is going to look like, we can get there faster, right?
Definitely. I try to do a project-based pricing model, and then if I put in there that this is based on this many hours, but if it does go over it's going to be additional. But yeah, just letting people know it's really based on what we get going in. Like
exactly.
And like that really helps us when we're figuring all that out. It helps to really talk to the printers and the end users. So the client is, of course, an end user, in a way, but their customers that are looking at it
Right.
are also the end users. So it's keeping in mind with what does that person that is going to say yes to the business that you're working with, what do they see? What do they feel? What do our clients want them to feel?
Right.
Keeping our clients and everyone happy. We're part of a team.
Yeah, and sticking to a timeline and everything too. If there's issues, you got to go back to the drawing board, which costs more money and more time. And like even for the printers, they've wasted their time trying to set that up on, you know, on their equipment and stuff like that. So may I share with the viewers that it was Andrew 𝐿𝐤𝐵 that introduced you to the Edmonton Graphic Designer networking group, and that's exactly what he does.
I met him when I was working with my previous employer, when I was doing all the large scale printing for the exhibits and such. And he was with the company that we were working with, in order to get things produced.
Yeah.
So we were in communication to make sure that the files were appropriate for what he needed.
Awesome. Yeah, and large scale printing is somewhat different and has different requirements than, you know, regular printing products and stuff, you know, that we might get like business cards and letterheads and stuff like that. But
resolution's different, and you have to take into account what's going to be in front of it. Are they going to set something up that's sitting directly in front of your designed work? Is it eye level that people will be seeing it at, or will people be seated and things eye levels change? Is there going to be a chair placed somewhere? So it's spatial awareness in how they're going to be using that piece and everything that goes in front of it. I know we've all seen the windows where they don't take into account the space in between the graphics for the windows, and it extends someone's face and makes it warp.
Tell us a little bit more about your business, okay?
So I have a few conditions that I've recently been diagnosed with and that are part of my everyday life. So one of them is called dysautonomia. So in order to keep my heart rate relatively steady throughout the day, I need to intake 8 to 10 grams of sodium per day.
Wow. When
most people need 2 to 2.5 grams. So I need to intake a huge amount of sodium, and it can be quite challenging. So that's where the salty came from. And the zebra is the symbol for Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. So I have hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. So my joints don't quite work properly. So I wanted to incorporate the zebra in my symbols and in my name. And then I try to live my life creatively with my conditions and with my job and what I love to do.
We do have a monthly marketing tips newsletter. If anybody doesn't know that, and if you're a business owner and you want to learn you know, tips for free on how to market your own business, please sign up for the newsletter. Erin, what would you like to share in the newsletter?
I think it's the same as what Andrew had said with design for the end user. It is the focus where you have to think of how it's being portrayed and what uses it will be for down the road. Try to put yourself in the shoes of seeing it in the big picture at the very end.
If you could, what would you educate your target market about?
I would like to say, I think it's the time it takes to be creative. Though some ideas might come very, very quickly for whoever you're dealing with in the design world, there's so much that goes into it. And sometimes you need to stew on something for a few days in order to have that aha moment. And that's part of the design process. And don't undersell yourself as a designer.
I'm so happy that you said that, because, you know, in your previous breath, you were saying design for the end user, which means you've got to spend time with your customer to find out who their end user is. So that time isn't free, right? That's part of the design process. And then like, for example, let's talk about me again. I'm just kidding. So when I'm designing a logo or something, in order to get to the final product, you got to go through the duds. You know what I mean? You got to say,
yeah.
oh, I like this on here and I like that. Can you put them together? Oh, that's fabulous. But that might be 2 or 3 versions down the road.
The final product is so much. It takes so many trials and errors to get there.
Exactly.
It's huge. Not everyone can afford to pay us what we are worth.
Yeah.
And that's okay. There is something for every price point in order to make someone feel confident moving into the marketplace. Because it worries me that sometimes people feel that it's like a prestige that they can't attain. It's not a prestige. Like we are people. We are just trying to get their voices heard as well.
Do you have a favorite printing company that you use and why?
I do.
Tell me more.
I do. I love 𝐿𝐼𝐴 here in town. They are great. I absolutely love them. The fellows that started it, they are very environmentally minded, and they plant a tree for every order that you place, and it makes you feel good when you place that order. And they have really cool designs that you can use, like really neat interactive folded pieces, and I've used them for a few wedding invitation clients and such, and yeah, they're always so great.
So you said they have, let me understand, they have like templates that you can like have a cool origami type folded thing or a product that you can say, I want that, and this is that's neat. That's neat.
Yeah, so then you can download their templates, and they work with Illustrator or CorelDRAW or whatnot, and they come in, and then you can put in, you design in their template, and then send it off.
So I hope you enjoyed our conversation with Erin 𝐒𝐜𝐤𝐴 of Salty Zebra Creative. This is Cindy from Edmonton Graphic Designer, and we will see you next time.